a client comes to us with employee data, their issue. They're trying to figure out what are the factors that make it more likely for employees to have excessive absences. So we're going to utilize Python and our data frame in order to analyze this problem. So first we import Pandas as PD. Pandas is a library for Python for working with panel data or tabular data. And we also want to import NumPy for doing sorting and other manipulation. So we will import NumPy as NP. Okay, and then we need to read our raw data. And Pandas has the ability to read the raw data using read CSV. So we're going to create a variable raw CSV data equals PD, which is Pandas, read CSV. And the file name is absenteeism data CSV. Now notice we have single quotes. You can use either single quotes or double quotes. The only requirement is they need to be the same, the opening and closing. Okay, so we're going to import the data. And now we're going to make sure that our file is complete. So we're going to eyeball the data. Okay, so we have our indexes, our IDs, which are integers, the reason for absence, also an integer, the dates, which are date objects, transportation expense, integer, distance to work, age. We have a float, daily workload average, body mass index, education. It looks like education is broken up into one, two, and three. Number of children, number of pets, and absenteeism time in hours, which are integers. Okay, very good. So the file looks complete. That's really important to eyeball it to make sure you have the correct file and everything is in place. Now notice that this first row is automatically treated as a header. That's the default, is it just assumes that the first row is going to be header information. Okay, our next requirement. So we can see the data file is complete. Now, Python has an idiosyncrasy where it acts on the source data. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have a backup. If we're changing columns or changing something in the file and there's a problem with the saving or the system crashes, you don't want to lose all your data and have to start over. So what we're going to do is we're going to back up the file. So we're going to make a copy. And you do this always when you're working with Pandas data files. So we're going to call our backup df, which means data frame. So raw CSV data, and we're going to copy that. Now we're going to make sure the file is complete. There we go, exactly the same information. So we have our copy and we have our original file intact. Now, if you notice that it's not displaying the complete file, so what we're going to do is we're going to set the display to maximum. So that's also within the Pandas library. So pd dot options display max columns. And if you want it to be unlimited, then you set it to none. So none means unlimited columns. And we're going to do the same thing with the rows. So we've set the display. Now we'll check it again. Okay, now we're able to look at the entire file. So as I said, the index starts at 0 and ends at 699. So we have 700 rows. And by default, when you're working in programming, the indexes are always start at 0. So now we're interested in finding out what are the data types of the files and how many rows do we have for each variable. So this is important to make sure the file is complete. So we're going to do data file info. And it's saying we have 700 rows for each of our variables. And the majority of them are integers, and we have object and a float. That's great. Okay, next we have a column called reason for absence. And we believe this is going to be the variable that is the biggest determinant for excessive absences. So we want to look at this closely. So to look at the one column, we type the data file name, df, and then the column name. So within square brackets, reason for absence. I left off the R. There we go. So now we're looking at the complete column. And rather than counting each row in the column, we're going to look at the minimum, the maximum. So df, we'll just copy this. So what is the minimum value? Minimum value is 0. What is the maximum value? Maximum value is 28. And what are the unique values within that column? So we simply type file name and then unique. And there we have the unique values within that file. Now we want to do one last thing. We want to determine, there appears to be a value missing, and I'm not sure which value it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually sort these, and NumPy has a sort function. So np sort, and then we type the file name, and we're interested in the unique values. So let's say unique. Data file, I'm checking my syntax. Data file, reason for absence, close up. We have an extra. Okay, there we go. We have the sorted values, and when we skim it, we notice 20 is missing. So we have the values 0 through 28, and we're missing 20. So there are 27 unique values up here. Okay, very good. That was excellent. That was a lot of information, but that's a very good start for our pre-processing. Thank you.